Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Creative CEO. My name's Georgie Turner. I'm an artist, I'm a businesswoman, and I'm also a mother. And I'm here trying to run a business alongside parenthood. So today, as it's the first Monday of November, I wanted to talk really about planning. I feel like it's the best way of managing every single task that you have to do in order to run a business. If you are like me and you don't have employees, you literally have to wear every single hat. And without planning all of those tiny little tasks, you're always going to kind of be feeling like you're left behind and not growing in the areas that you should be growing in because you're not putting time into those little sections of business, such as marketing. Even like doing your accounts is all part of the business. And I thought it'd be really good to talk about how I plan for the month. And then at the end of the podcast, we're going to talk a little bit about Black Friday because that's obviously coming up. And if you are planning on doing Black Friday deals, you need to be organizing it now, not leaving it to the last minute. So this weekend, I had a break from social media and I felt like I really needed it. It was my daughter's birthday and we had family over to celebrate her birthday, watch the rugby, and I just decided that I was just going to just not post anything. So I think I posted something on Friday and then I just left it all weekend. I made my daughter a Shaun the Sheep carrot cake. And just something simple like being able to make my daughter a cake without worrying about what sales I was making that weekend or any commissions. It just felt really freeing and just reminded me of like the whole point of why we have a business is to, support your family and give your family like the best sort of life. Or that's what it is for me. I love my work now. I'm so much happier working for myself and doing my art than I ever was being a teacher. But, I do have to sometimes remind myself why I do it. And excuse me. And this weekend kind of validated that for me, for my daughter, for my husband, for my whole family. It just felt really liberating to just take a step back from the business for a weekend and just focus on family. So I think what is really important when you're making a plan is not just to think about the actual individual tasks that are involved in running your business, but what your targets are for those kind of sections of your business. This is because if you don't have a target, how do you know what the purpose of your social media posts are for? What's the purpose of things you post on Instagram? What's the purpose of you sending out an email campaign? What's the purpose of you updating your website? What do you actually want to achieve by doing all of those tasks? How do you want people to react after you send something out? Like when you send out an email campaign, what do you want people to then do once they've read it? And you won't know the answer to these unless you have a specific target in mind. So what I do, I've started breaking my month down into areas of my business, including all the tasks which I only do once a month or once a week. And they come under these 4 headings. Creation. So this is obviously for me creating the artwork. So that's the physical hands-on creation of the actual art. That's one of my sections. Then I've got social media, which is marketing, because I don't do any other marketing apart from online, well, except for when I go to events and stuff. But my marketing is very much on social media. Then I have a section which I call sales. Then I have a section which I just call admin. So let's go through each of those individual sections. You don't have to use these sections for your business, but it might be a good idea to break down your business as a whole into 3 or 4 categories which you find more manageable. The first one, creativity. I think it's really important to make a target for your creativity, your creative side, even though creativity should be quite free flowing and you should, not put loads of pressure on yourself to do a piece of art a certain way or whatever the creative side of your business is. But I do feel like having a target will help keep you on track and it will help keep you accountable. If you've got commissions like me, then you might have some quite immediate deadlines and you have to finish that piece of artwork for that specific time. If you're doing more original pieces and you don't have deadlines, I still think it's a good idea to keep deadlines for yourself. You don't have to say exactly what you want to achieve in that space of time. You could just say, I want to do half a day on Wednesday, or I want to do 2 hours on a Thursday, and you stick to making sure that you block out that time for being creative. The next section is social media. which for me is my main marketing tool. I think it's really important to have a target for what you want to achieve on your social media, and you can tailor this to the time of year. So because Black Friday is in just under 4 weeks' time, I am really tailoring my social media to attracting in more people, but then having immediate nurture content for those people that I attract in, so that people will fully understand by seeing my social media that I have got prints to sell. I've got a couple of originals to sell, but it's mainly prints at the moment. And I've got homewares that I want to sell. And even though I'm not promoting Black Friday deals yet, I want them to be really, really engaged in my art and my homewares and my prints and myself as a business. And it's kind of warming them up for when there are deals later on in the month. It's really important to have a target for your social media. And my social media is broken down into Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Pinterest, and YouTube. So Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, those are my main sources of income or revenue, because you can see on Shopify where your traffic has come from. And I was quite surprised that most of my traffic has actually come from TikTok recently. So I need to keep nurturing my TikTok audience, because that's where I'm getting lots of sales in. So having a target for your social media, and it doesn't just have to be about sales. It could be about, getting people on your email list. It could be about getting commission clients. It could be about just wanting more followers. But followers doesn't necessarily mean money unless you've got something to you've actually got value to give them. But think about what your target is each week for your social media, because that will help you create content that is actually purposeful and actually will help your business grow, rather than just putting content out there for the sake of it. Another thing about having your own business is, don't feel like you have to hit every single platform all the time, because I think it's extremely overwhelming. And if I worked 5 days a week, if my daughter was in nursery 5 days a week, I know that I could do more YouTube, or I could do more Pinterest, but I just can't physically fit it into my week. But if I hold myself accountable for doing 1 YouTube video and 2 Pinterest pins, even though it's not a massive amount, over time, it will make a difference. It might just not make much of an immediate difference. And that's okay if you are on your own and you don't have any employees to give these kind of jobs to. If you've got to do it all on your own, don't try and stuff lots and lots and lots into every single day and do things at a half-assed rate. Try and, spread your tasks more thinly, but still try and make sure that you do them, even if you don't do them every day or every other day, even if you just do them once a week. Like me, YouTube, I just can't keep on top of it at the moment, but I'm trying to hold myself accountable for 1 YouTube video a week. Try to have a target that you're actually working towards per week, and think about the time of year. You might not in January be trying to make sales. You might just be trying to get people in and get people engaged. It will change month on month, and just think about what works best for your business. This third section of my business is sales. And this is my email list and then my website tasks. So the email list, once people have found me on social media and I've got them onto my email list, I'm more likely to convert them into customers through my email list. My website is also about sales, because my website needs to be converted, it needs to be a place where I do convert people who are interested. They're on my website and converting them into customers. So I see those two as sales. I don't have a year-on-year comparison. However, I do feel like it's good to have a bit of a monetary target, and it doesn't have to be huge. You don't have to be shooting for the stars, although if you manifest it, it will come at some point. But just think realistically on what your target is. Even if you don't have a monetary value and you want to say, I want to convert, 2% of my email list for this weekend, and I'm going to run a quick deal for 2 days to see if I can convert that many people into buyers. So you don't have to put a massive monetary value on your sales targets, but really think about maybe sort of how many customers you want, and it doesn't matter what they buy, but you are getting them to buy, because So lots of people might buy something that's cheaper and then come back for something more expensive later on. So even if you have a customer and they only buy something really cheap, don't disregard them as a potential future customer that will buy, a more expensive item. Every single customer does count, and you just have to continue to nurture those customers that buy from you. Finally, admin tasks. I split these down into my accounts, my podcast, postage, stationery. So like actually ordering stationery and getting everything that I need, organising my studio, so keeping on top of that, and then customer relations. Admin tasks are always really important for your business, and they're the things that you might like put to the back of your mind, but they're really integral in keeping your business going. So like your accounts, I think it's really important to update your accounts every single week, and then you've got, and to keep your cash flow up to date so that you know how much money you've got coming in. So little things like that are really important to keep on top of. So admin targets is like, they sound more like to-dos, but they're kind of just, it's more about holding myself accountable for the little pieces of the puzzle, and not to be overwhelmed by those small little tasks, breaking those little tasks down over the course of the month to make sure that it's not so overwhelming for you. So what I would give, my best advice for planning out your entire month and then breaking that down into a week is to look at the entire month and what's coming up, what do you want to actually achieve by the end of the month, or like the middle of the month, or whatever it is. Like obviously Christmas, if you're thinking about Christmas sales, you don't have till the end of December. You've got until, more like the middle of December really to make all your sales, so then things can get posted out. So look ahead at the whole month to see what you want to achieve by the end of that month, and then work backwards and break it down into weekly chunks. And you don't have to use the same sort of sections that I do, but I think it's really good to break down every single piece of the puzzle that is involved in your business into small, manageable sections. Okay, finally, let's just quickly talk about Black Friday. So you don't have to do Black Friday deals, but it's like a billion pound time in the month. I mean, like, people spend absolutely shed loads of money. And I know that it's like my stepdad would say, oh, it's an Americanism, we've just adopted it, which it probably is absolutely true. And I personally don't see why we should be doing Black Friday, because people want to buy in this time of year anyway. You don't need to have a discount. People will buy anyway. But for some reason, we've just decided to do this whole big discount sale, before December. And it does seem a bit crazy, but at the same time, I kind of want a piece of that pie. If people are going to be shopping for Black Friday deals, I want a piece of that. So I'm gonna join in. I'm gonna be doing something, but that doesn't mean you have to. And your Black Friday doesn't have to necessarily be about making lots of sales and massively reducing your prices. My Black Friday is not about reducing the prices. My aim for my Black Friday is actually to increase my average order value by offering some deals to encourage people to buy more. Obviously, giving themselves a massive saving, but I'm not discounting. I'm going to be trying to increase the average order value by giving a deal so that people will buy more for less. So your Black Friday doesn't have to be slashing your prices, and I definitely wouldn't, because you're working extremely hard, and especially if you are an artist who, is doing everything themselves, if you suddenly slash all your commission prices, if you work that out hour by hour, you are probably going to be earning under minimum wage. So you need to really think about how you can incorporate Black Friday, if you want to do it, into your business deals, but not dealing yourself out. It's really important to prep for Black Friday. Don't leave it all to the last minute, and make sure that you know what your deals are going to be. And sort of by like the second week before Black Friday, that's when I would start talking about what you're going to be offering, not now. What you should be doing now is nurturing people into wanting your products, and you kind of like warming them up, ready to buy when you actually put the deals on your website. Get people loving your art and loving your business before you've even talked about Black Friday, before you even start trying to sell. You can't sell to people until they are until they are invested in you. It's hard to sell to a cold audience. So think about your Black Friday deals if you want to do them, and start considering how you are going to nurture your audience now, ready for when you actually do the discount. So this week was all about planning and breaking down all of those tasks into manageable chunks. Don't get yourself overwhelmed, but try and hit every single aspect of your business, even if it's just once a month. It's better to have consistency, even if that consistency is once a month or every week or every other week, rather than not doing it at all. So just think about what it works for your business and try and hold yourself accountable. Do what I did in October. I got a big A1 sheet and I wrote down every single task, and I put like little stars when I wanted to do the task. So if it was like every week, I would, like on a Wednesday I was going to do like the YouTube video, and on the Sunday I was going to record the podcast, and I tried to keep myself accountable. And the funny thing is I feel like if you get into the habit of not sticking to a plan, or you get into the habit of always having a plan for the day and then completely not going with it, that just becomes your every single day. Whereas I think it's okay every now and then to suddenly feel like, well, I'm really into this painting and I don't want to stop, so I'm going to keep going. I think if you do that every now and then, that's okay, but you cannot forget about the other tasks that go into running a business, because it's all very well and good sitting and creating gorgeous artwork, but if you don't market your artwork, if you don't build the relationship with your customers, if you don't package them nicely, or you do all those little admin-y bits, you're not going to actually make it into a business. You're just going to be like an artist rather than creating like a business that's actually profitable. So I don't want you to think that I'm saying you've got to have a plan and stick to it every single day, but don't get into the habit of always breaking your plan, because you need to hold yourself accountable for those tiny little tasks. And the start of the month is the best time to, set yourself a challenge for this whole month, and how you can make sure that you do it, make sure that you don't sway from, your monthly plan, and see how much better it makes you feel, or see how it helps your business grow in the next couple of months, because I'm sure it absolutely will. Thank you so much for listening. I'll be back next week, I hope, if I can fit another one in. I want to talk to you about the self-assessment tax return in the UK. Even though it sounds like a bit of a boring job, it really is important, and it's all part of having a business. And it might not be suitable for everybody, because people have got different ways of doing their tax. And I'm not a tax expert, but I've just done a webinar with a HMRC about tax returns, and I wanted to share the information with you and just kind of help alleviate the stresses that come maybe with doing your tax return, and just making it really simple and easy to understand. So that will be next week. Thank you so much for listening. Please don't forget to leave me a rating and a review. It will help my podcast grow more than you know. And thank you so much for being here. Bye.